Deviation from that at all with 3 games to go?
No, no, not necessarily. My game feels really good. I like where a lot of things are at. I really just need to get into a game and see where my mind's at, how my reads come in, and I mean, so far, if I'm predicting, it's going to be really good. But it's one of those things where you get into the rhythm, and then you really get dialed in. So, 2.5 is probably all I need to get into the rhythm.
Right. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but there was a game where you came in and it was kind of up in the air as to how long you play, and you felt good after one period. How is that just kind of a fluid situation, like how the game is going and how you're feeling on that particular night?
Well, for that game last year, yeah, that was kind of the plan. Um, the idea is to get down a warm up and just get the body used to a game day routine before getting into a game. So that was a little bit different than this year. Every year's different just based on how preseason goes, and so far I really like my game and I like where things are at. So I'm slated to play the next one, and we'll go from there.
On your checklist, Connor, like what kind of things do you look for in terms of your progression as you get into game action in the preseason?
I'm looking for my structure. How does it feel? How quickly can I get into it? And how many times can I repeat getting into the same feeling and the same structure and the same triggers? That's been really good right from the get-go, right from the middle of summer. And then the next thing I'm looking for is my hands. How are my hands tracking? How are they reacting to pucks? Are they falling back or are they attacking? Are they sitting in the right spots? Am I getting pieces of pucks that I'm expecting to get pieces of? And so far I have. And the next thing is just how my reads are in the game. And that doesn't really come from practice. That comes from game and scrimmaging. We had a bit of a team scrimmage earlier, and I liked where a lot of things were. It's just going to be a matter of getting to that game and, getting the real pressure on.
Those are a lot of details, a lot of micro contextual things I want to say. And you talk about kind of consistency, doing it every time. What's the journey like for a goalie from when you start to the point of the career that you're at now in terms of building that consistency and all those motions?
That's a deep question because,
Deep
question because there is a big learning curve there. I remember when I was younger, I was loose and, you would find a few good things and kind of start working on a few good things and kind of put those good things into your game and kind of piece together what's next. Whereas of now, it's so minute and it's almost second nature. And you can imagine that in between, it just gets better and better and better every year. And, when I look back, I feel so much better and I look so much better now than I did a year or 2, 3 ago. So, for those minute details, it's becoming more and more second nature. And the other side of it is the mental thing. Not letting a couple bad goals really bother you because that's not you and it's not your game. If you feel good and mentally you just know you're going to be good, it's going to translate on the ice. So I think at this point the mental side it's kind of locked in.
Side, at your exit interviews, you wore your heart on your sleeve. You said there are going to be some things that you reflected on heading into the summer about changing maybe your approach or maybe your perspective. How did that go? What did you end up focusing in on in that regard?
Honestly, when I actually had some time to think about it, I really liked my game and I really liked my mindset. And, there's 2 different ways to go about it. There's try to do it yourself or, try to rely on a team. And the way I've gotten to where I am today is really digging in myself and doing everything I can, which helps the team in the long run. So I didn't really do a whole lot of changing or digging or mental reflecting. I just kind of realized that what you're doing is right and just stick to it and don't deviate from the plan that I've given myself and just continue to get better every single day at my details and make sure my game is as consistent as possible, and that's going to help this team win.
What's your point of every year trying to push yourself to get better and better? How would you describe it? Maybe you can't do it because you're so detailed, but like in layman's terms or to the casual hockey fan, how would you suggest you've evolved as a goaltender over the last 2, 3, 4 years?
Well, not only has my structure become second nature, but I think it's the mind. It's the mental game and it's the way you're reading the game. I've seen a lot of shots and a lot of plays go down, so recognizing what's going to happen next is becoming more and more second nature. So the biggest thing that I've kind of learned over the last few years is how to recognize instantly and then being able to be ahead of the game and jump the game a little bit. That being said, the other side is the mental side of things where if things don't go as planned, which the more and more I play, the less and less they don't go as planned. But being able to handle and just toss it out a window and not think about it twice is really important in this league and in this sport. And I think that's a big jump that I've made in the last couple of years.
Sure, when the last time you would have been in a situation like this would have been, but what's it like for a starting goaltender to have, you know, a pretty stiff competition for your backup going on behind you?
You know, they're both good guys, so at this point, it's just letting it happen. You know, it's fun to watch, and you know, I'm here to help in any way I can. But at the end of the day, I'm more focused on getting myself into the game ready, and I know those are two pros over there, so they're gonna be doing the same thing, and you know, just kind of let the business side of things handle itself.
And over the course of a practice, Connor, you know, I noticed you were at the end with Koppel for a little while, and then went over to the end with Eric. Is that pre-designed, or is that something, you know, where you're feeling it? Is it almost kind of like a quarterback room in football, where there's a lot of talk amongst the goaltenders as a practice evolves? How does that work?
Yeah, you know, there's always open dialogue on what you need and what's coming up next. So for me, it was playing tomorrow, and I wanted to manage myself today so I'm not really exhausted tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a morning skate and a flight. It's a long day, so I wanted my own net to make sure I was feeling it and seeing it, so if I want to take a little bit less of a workload tomorrow, I can. For me, it's having 3 is really crucial, especially during the year too, because you can really start to manage yourself and you get exactly what you need, and you know, leave feeling good. And if you put a big stretch of time together where you're feeling really good about yourself, it starts to become second nature. And you know, having flats around and being in the role that I have kind of really helps me be able to hand my foot down on that and really put a hand in and use my voice and say, this is what I need, this is what I want, and they listen. Yeah. So today was more just about what I was getting in and what I wanted and what I needed.